We're back. We're going to take more of your phone calls at 504-556-9696. Delve into some of these emails at jeff@wgso.com. Hey, let's bring on our Ringside All-Star who is with us on Mondays. Wears a lot of hats, talk show host, commentator, website publisher, author. Our friend Josh Bernstein joining us. What's happening, Josh? Good evening.
How you doing, Jeff? I like your new little opening there. It's a pretty cool one.
Thank you.
Nice
Thank you.
new
Thank
little
you.
Jingle. Sounds good, buddy.
It's peppy. Thank you, sir.
It's peppy for sure.
Before we get back to the calls and the issues, let's give everyone an update on jbushow.com.
jbushow.com. That's the place to go to find the news. You're not going to get too many other places. You know, I don't know if anyone has seen the Trump speech at CPAC, but honestly, if Netflix is looking for a brand new comedy special to shoot to number one on the list, I can guarantee you that's exactly what would happen. It was the absolute funniest, most hysterical speech I have ever seen him give. Honestly, you can't miss this one. It's on the homepage of jbushow.com. So please, folks, check it out. And remember, Preserving Liberty, you can get the digital copy now for $12.99, and the hardcover has been reduced to $25. So please check it out. Please grab a copy of that. If you like what's happening right now in Washington, D.C., I can guarantee you my book shows how to make all of these temporary gains through executive actions permanent. So check it out on Amazon, Preserving Liberty.
Josh Bernstein with us. Jeff Crouere here. It's Ringside on the Airways on WGSO. Josh, so much happening. We're trying to cover as much as we can. Federal workers who do not returned to the office, placed on leave, many of them complaining about the email that they got from Elon Musk. They're going to court to try to stop it. I mean, there's an all-out battle now in the courts trying to prevent this president, Elon Musk, Doge, from making savings in our bloated bureaucracy. Give us your update. How do you think things are going?
Well, the update I would give you is they're great. They truly are. And remember, you can thank Joe Biden, Sean Spicer, and Stephen Miller for the reason why any federal worker can be fired, because Sean Spicer was fired from one of the boards about 2 months before his term was up by Joe Biden. And Stephen Miller from America First Legal was smart enough to tell Sean Spicer, hey, let's file a lawsuit. You're going to lose the lawsuit, but that doesn't matter, because if President Trump comes back in office, we need legal precedent to say that any federal officer or official can be fired. And now they have it. But that's not even what I want to discuss. Here's what I want to discuss. The primary function of the National Security Agency is to monitor and collect foreign communications and intelligence data with a focus on national security, and that's its main focus. It's not supposed to be for sexual orgies, gangbangs, transgender talk, you name it. I don't know if you saw this report that just broke, but this is one of the most disgusting reports ever. People that are supposed to be dealing with our national security are instead talking about transgender stuff, mutilating their bodies. Just
Castration. Yeah.
Castration. I know, it's so sick.
I mean, these people are sick. They're sick. They're sick. Yeah.
And they all need to be fired. Every single one. Yeah. Look, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to give this new administration until April 1st. Okay? If I don't see investigations and indictments, serious indictments, I'm going to personally create rallies and protests in front of the FBI headquarters, the CIA headquarters, DHS, NSA. I don't care if even I get arrested for it. I am going to make sure and put my everything on the line. I want to see these people perp walked, and I want to see them in jail. And I will do everything in my powers behind the scenes to coordinate that. Now, I'm going to give them some time because, Bongino just got there, Cash just got there, Pam just got there, but we need to start seeing some people being perp walked and prosecuted.
Yeah, I agree. Hundreds of these employees with top secret clearances use agency chat rooms to explore sex kinks, gangbangs, transgender sex chats. Absolutely horrible. And of course, as you say, they're supposed to be doing important work, right? Supposed to be keeping us safe, supposedly.
Yeah. And they don't need to just be fired. They need to be prosecuted. Okay.
Right.
They need to be prosecuted. And honestly, you know where you can start? You can start with OMG and Project Veritas and every single James O'Keefe video that had one of these idiots talking about crimes that they committed, including just the last one, the coup, which is why the Joint Chiefs of Staff was removed. All you got to do is show all of those. Hell, I would make an honorary member of the FBI, James O'Keefe, and let him go through all of his videos throughout the last 4 years. You can start with your prosecutions right there, folks.
504-556-9696. Yeah, he's done great exposés. So you brought up the new people in charge. We've got a new chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff who obviously is a guy who knows how to take care of the enemy, Dan Raising Cane.
Yep.
And then you've got a new deputy director of the FBI, Dan Bongino. So I think some great people are being hired. Your thoughts?
Oh, I think they're fantastic. Look, I've said this before, and I'll say it again. I don't understand why Dan Bongino is not the director of the Secret Service for President Trump, especially after that forum with Eli Crane and Andy Biggs and Eric Prince. I mean, he just blew everybody away with his knowledge inside of that agency. Personally, I think that's the best position for him to be. But I'm not crying any liberal tears, that's for sure, for him being the number 2 person at the FBI. I think that is going to be a 1-2 punch that hopefully is going to lead to a lot of perp walks.
Right. And, of course, Kash Patel as the director, I think is going to be outstanding. And we got a lot of hope in Pam Bondi. Now, she said the other day on her desk, JFK files, Epstein files. Time to release those files, wouldn't you say, Josh?
Oh, it's 62 years we've been waiting, right? 62 years, and they haven't released them. Look, we already know that the new revelations, Malcolm Mac Wallace was the one that was hired by LBJ's chief of staff, who was also the Democrat Party's executive director for the DNC back then. His name was Clifton Collins. He hired Mac Wallace to shoot and kill JFK. It's absolute fact. It's not opinion. It's not hearsay. It's absolute fact. I think that that's going to be part of the release of information. And also, I think there's going to be some information pertaining to Ruth Paine and the CIA connections that raise a lot of other doubts. This is somebody that housed Lee Harvey Oswald and others and, worked with the CIA. Again, Oswald was the patsy. And this was a setup. That's why Jack Ruby shot him. And then that's why Jack Ruby, died right after that. I mean, the whole thing, they thought they could cover it up. But President Trump said, I don't think so. There's documents that need to be released to the public.
And we need to see those documents. As you say, it's been 61 and a half years. 504-556-9696. Big news in the world of media. Looks like MSNBC is cleaning house. Lots of hosts being fired, including Joyless Reed. And then on NBC, Lester Holt is leaving. What's going on with the media, Josh?
Well, they're about as consequential as passing wind, okay? No one cares. No one can see it. No one knows who did it. They're completely inconsequential these days. And we are the new media. It took us a long time to get to where we are, but we are finally there. The more social media that is allowed, like X and other platforms, to put out a counter narrative and the real truth, more and more younger generations are going to go away from the Democratic Party and they will become Republicans. Look at the youth vote in just the last election. So look, there's 2 things, and I say this all the time, that we have to do. Number 1, we have to pass election integrity before the 2026 elections. And the last thing, and even before DOGE, before taxes, before spending, is we need to perp walk and prosecute these people so they would never dare try to weaponize our government against we the people ever again. We do those 2 things, and we're on the track to the golden age.
Yeah, we are. And then finally, elections in Germany, a conservative group coming in second. The new chancellor there says he wants independence from the U.S. says it wants to maybe start their own defense league. And I say, great, let's disband NATO and let the Europeans pay for their own defense. And we can save a lot of money. I mean, is there any purpose in NATO anymore, Josh?
No. NATO is, for the most part, it's a pretty anti-American organization. I mean, let's face it, they basically were propping up the oligarchs in Ukraine. And, it's pretty amazing how he has folded Zelensky like a cheap suit. And he's now given up the mineral rights, the precious metals, all that good stuff. So I just love it. I think it's great. But, Ukraine is never going to be part of NATO, and they're not going to be, especially right next to Russia's borders. So Russia and Putin were right in doing what they did. I stand by that. I've stand by that for a long time. Mm-hmm. And I'm glad to see Zelensky pretty much on his way out. I think he's going to be on his way out.
Now, he claims he will leave. He will resign if NATO guarantees membership to Ukraine.
Not going to happen. So he's going to resign anyway, because Trump is now in charge. And I think it's going to be less than 30 days. You'll see him.
I hope so, because I think the guy is corrupt. I think Ukraine is corrupt. And where's all the money that we spent in Ukraine, Josh? I mean, where's the accounting? When is Doge going to get on that?
That's a good question. I don't think there is much accounting because, look, a lot of this money that was allocated from Congress was given to these agencies. But that's where Congress dropped the ball. And I'm going to blame Congress here, not necessarily all the agencies' fault. I blame Congress for not putting, direction to where this spending is allowed to go and where it's not allowed to go. So what happened is they gave this money to all these agencies, and the agencies were allowed to spend it however they wanted to. And that can never, ever be again, because like a child with a credit card, there's no responsibility. They're going to run it up. You don't know what the hell they're spending their money on. And then all of a sudden they're going to cry when you cut it up on them. Well, that's exactly what the federal government is doing right now.
Mm-hmm. Josh Bernstein with us, Jeff Crouere here. It is Ringside on the Airways on WGSO, 504-556-9696, your ticket into the program. Let's go to the Hoosier State, the great state of Indiana. Welcome our friend Mark joining the conversation this evening. What's happening, my friend? Good evening. Welcome.
Hey, what's up, fellas? Y'all doing all right?
Very good, sir.
Mental illness is being encouraged in this country, has been for, since the Obama era, okay? It's been encouraged, and it's been they're conditioning us to accept the fact that we have to conform and participate in other people's fantasies, okay? We got to participate in their cosplay, their fetish cosplay. We're turning over children to transsexual couples, you know what I mean, to breastfeed an infant, you know what I'm saying? That's bondage, and we're doing it in places like San Francisco and Washington State, places like that. And about that, hospitals giving people vaccines without their permission. Anybody ever done that to me, and I found out about it? I'd hate to say it, but their guts hit the ground before they did, okay? But,
yeah, well, you heard that nurse earlier say that that's being done, so that's a problem.
My doctor lied to me about Ozempic. Mm-hmm. I told her I didn't want anything to do with magnetosection and nanoparticles, okay?
Right.
It's all mRNA stuff, okay? They'll say it ain't, but it is, okay? And that Ozempic, that's what it is. There's several things on the market for diabetes. Anything that's, takes, like if you take it and it's good for a month or a week or something like that, that's nanotechnology. That's hydrogels.
Mm-hmm.
Different kinds.
Ozempic will kill you quicker than the COVID shot.
I'm also hearing that Ozempic is making people blind. That there have been many cases of that.
Liver failure, kidney failure, heart attacks. It's a horrible, horrible drug.
All kinds of problems.
My doctor lied to me about Ozempic, And she also thinks that gender is fluid. I've had that conversation with her.
I'd find a new doctor, Mark. I'd tell her goodbye.
She's a nice young lady, and she helped me after my stroke. I know, she really helped me big time.
Yeah.
And I tell her, I have discussions with her all the time about this crazy stuff. You know what I mean? As a matter of fact, they think I'm crazy up there. But I told her
we got to convince people like that gender is not fluid.
Right. A doctor. She's brainwashed just like
she should have her license
any other 30-year-old these days.
Yeah, that's sad.
With college, they're all brainwashed. I'm not taking up too much time for you guys.
Thank you, my friend. You have a good evening. All right, more with Josh Bernstein, Jeff Crouere here. Let's get a break in. We'll come back to Ringside Politics right here in the airways on WGSO. Jeff Crouere here. Let's take care of some business. We'll be right back.
Located just 2 blocks from the famous French Quarter, Hotel Storyville is your best choice for an all-suites hotel boutique experience. Enjoy with friends at our Tiki Bar and Mermaids Lounge, or relax in our beautiful tropical garden. Visit nearby New Orleans attractions, vibrant local music venues, and great neighborhood restaurants. For more information on our accommodations and special events, visit hotelstoryville.net.
For 20 years, New Era Information Technologies has performed computerized business automation development, specializing in technical services, local and wide area networks, GIS, business automation, re-engineering, offsite backup, consulting, and system development. They've provided IT services for major government and law enforcement organizations. Now they want to use all that experience to provide cybersecurity for your small business. And they're opening up a new division focusing on small businesses, those with up to 20 employees, and some may be working remotely. New Era Information Technologies can implement the technology solutions to increase workflow efficiencies and give your business the competitive advantage. New Era IT can provide custom software design, website design, and social media consulting. For more information, visit newerait.net or call 504-875-2101. Let us bring your small business into the new era. Ringside Politics has partnered with America First Java to help bring an end to human trafficking in America. For every bag purchase, a donation is made directly to the nonprofit America's Future to help fund their Project Defend and Protect Our Children initiative, which is focused on completely eradicating child sex trafficking. And these efforts are funded in part through the sale of organic, air-roasted, premium quality America First Java. All bag coffee is organic, so there are never any chemicals or pesticides used. And air roasting removes nearly all of the bitterness and acidity, resulting in an amazingly smooth cup of coffee. Ah, delicious. America First Java. Funding freedom, saving America, fighting human trafficking. To get some for yourself, visit CrouereCoffee.com. Do it now and save 10% immediately when you sign up for any recurring subscription plan. That's CrouereCoffee.com. CrouereCoffee.com. If you're not listening to the State of Freedom podcast yet, you should be. Chris Alexander and Danielle Walker will keep you updated on the ins and outs of what's happening with Louisiana politics. And they'll share how to take action to make your voice heard. They go beyond Louisiana's borders and host powerful national guests while looking at the issues from a Christian, conservative, and decidedly frank Louisiana lens. Follow the State of Freedom podcast. It's available on all major platforms.
You know, they say a mind is a terrible thing to waste unless no one notices. Call Ringside Politics with a Punch, 556-9696.
Hey, we're back. Josh Bernstein with us, Jeff Crouere here, and wanted to follow up on what our friend Mark was saying with some stats here that are pretty amazing. You know, those Americans born before 1946, the number that identify as LGBTQ is 1.8%. But those born between 1997 and 2006 identify as LGBTQ more than 20%. So that is 10 times more. And overall, the number of people that identify as LGBTQ is now 9.3%, when back in 2012, it was only 3.5%. So obviously, Josh, some major changes are going on. This kind of quote-unquote identification is increasing. And wouldn't you say a lot of this has to do with the indoctrination going on in the schools?
100%. 100%. And not just the schools. Obviously, social media, Hollywood, sports, entertainment, all of that, music. And I think that you're going to see a huge change in a lot of that. I mean, even the Super Bowl, for instance, a lot of people pan the halftime show, but at least they were dressed. They were not trying to simulate sex with the devil. You know what I mean? So I think that we're making progress here. I also don't believe that there's anywhere close to 20% that actually identify. I think it's probably somewhere between maybe 3 and 6% on the top end. I really don't. And again, I'm not saying, lesbian, gay, bisexual. Yeah, that might be closer to the 20%. But I'm talking about the freaks. I'm talking about the people that want to sexually mutilate themselves or others. I think that is very low. I mean, it's probably somewhere between 2 and maybe 5-6% tops. And I think 6% is almost unheard of even. It's probably 2 to 3%. So why are we catering to 2 to 3% and ignoring the other 97% that don't believe in this absolute horrific satanic behavior? And I think that it's being stripped out by the root in society, and it needs to be. And look, I'll say this right now. I will fight against all of it, and I don't care who believes in this crap, including own family members. I will fight against all of it and continue to do so.
It's just shocking, sad, disturbing that this increase has been so prevalent, and they've really pushed it in recent years, and we do need to push back against it big time. And finally, you mentioned sports in my final minute here with you. Philadelphia Eagles deciding not to go to the White House. Once again, turning down President Trump. According to the team, it was an overwhelming vote not to go. That should tell people a lot about the NFL, Josh.
Yeah, that it does. It tells us a lot. Maybe they were going to kneel in front of the president too if they went there. So it's probably a good thing that they didn't go. But I'm wondering if there's anything President Trump can do to punish the Philadelphia Eagles for dissing him. I'm sure there is something. Perhaps maybe there's a way to, get rid of a tax exemption for the Philadelphia Eagles or possibly the NFL, just to let them know that we're aware of exactly who they are and what they believe in.
Well, they have all kind of legal protections, and they've gotten all kind of special treatment over the years. A lot of that could be looked into, so we'll see. Anyway, I'm glad to see some of these teams, like hockey teams and collegiate teams and other sports figures, do like to go to the White House, as they should. It's really, they're doing it for their fans, not themselves. All right, Josh, thank you, my friend. Appreciate you.
Doing the Trump dance than not.
Yeah.
Remember that.
All right. Thanks to Josh in the studio and all of you.
God bless.
We'll see you tomorrow morning for more